situation that took place at the Westgate Shopping Center on July 4th. Before we have Sergeant Brian Hoskin, which is BryanHoskin, come up and speak to you all, we'd also want to take a quick moment to recognize the quick actions of our officers that were on the scene that day. They were there within minutes, had the place shut down and scoured the entire area for 3 hours to make sure that everybody was safe and secure and that this did not escalate into something much worse than it already was. And we were able to apprehend a suspect. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring forward Sergeant Brian Hoskin.
Thank you. All right, so like he had mentioned, we're going to talk to you about the July 4th incident out at Westgate. So at approximately 9 p.m., Glendale police responded to reports of shots being fired near the fountain area at Westgate involving a group of teenagers. Based on the investigation, detectives have determined that the 15-year-old male from the Phoenix area was visiting Westgate with a family members when he encountered several classmates. A verbal confrontation developed and escalated between the two groups, at which point the suspect produced a handgun and discharged multiple rounds towards the group. During the incident, the suspect's 8-year-old sister sustained injury, but fortunately none of the injuries reported by any of the victims were considered life-threatening, and most of those involved were treated and released from the local hospitals. Glendale officers arrived within minutes of the initial call, and members of our SWAT team were quickly deployed to the area as well to assist with securing and conducting a search for the suspect. Westgate was placed on lockdown as precautionary measure while officers worked to safely locate and apprehend the suspect involved. The suspect was ultimately found hiding elsewhere within the plaza and was taken into custody without further incident. Through surveillance footage, witness statements, and investigative interviews, detectives were able to positively identify the suspect as the shooter. Charges have been submitted in connection with this case. And as Jose had previously mentioned, I would like to commend the exceptional work of our patrol officers, our entertainment squad, VSIT, which is our Violent Crimes Impact Team, our SWAT personnel and detectives who responded out to Westgate on July 4th. Their rapid and coordinated response allowed them to quickly stabilize the scene, protect the public, and prevent the incident from escalating to a larger casualty event. At this time, investigators believe this was an isolated incident, and there is no ongoing threat to the community. The situation was brought under control quickly, and normal operations at Westgate resumed following the conclusion of the law enforcement response. Investigators are continuing to provide updates to us as appropriate and as they progress in the investigation. One of the things mentioned by the lead detective, he wanted the public to know that if they have any videos or any information regarding this incident, they can please come forward and provide that to the Glendale Police Department. They can call us at 930-3000. That's 623-930-3000. Or if they want to remain anonymous, they can go through the channels through Silent Witness here, which is 480-WITNESS, or you can go to their website. At this time, we'll take any questions if you have any, if we can see if we can answer some of those.
The victims, apart from the 8-year-old sister, were they all the classmates that had been arguing with the suspect?
So 4 of the known victims were related to the group. There was one individual who was grazed with minor injury who was not involved in the group.
You said the suspect was hiding? Where was he hiding?
Just within the vicinity. He ran out of the initial area. We're near the fountain area of Westgate, and then he was apprehended as he was trying to flee the property.
Were all 5 victims, including the one you said they got grazed, were they shot or were there other injuries?
From what I understand, everyone did sustain some sort of gunshot wound from the incident.
How difficult of an area is Westgate to police with just how it's set up, kind of openness in the area? A lot of people flow into it from other destinations around there. What unique challenges does it give you, and what are some of the things that you talk with the properties about as far as patrolling the area and trying to prevent incidents like this?
Yeah, so it is a unique property. Like you said, there's entrances from all directions. It is a large property. Anything large, whether it was Westgate or a Tanger or an Arrowhead Mall type situation that we have here in the city of Glendale, that can be difficult because it can house a lot of different people within that area. Obviously, we've worked closely with our partners out at Westgate to provide the utmost security to the visitors to the area, whether it's for a football game, something at the arena, or just something like this, a 4th of July celebration. And we continue to work with them. They are very cooperative in helping us with this investigation, and they are a key part to our success in an investigation like this. We just continue to provide extra patrols in the area. We have the entertainment squad, which is based out of that area for the extra security and protection. We have off-duty officers who work in that area, and there's a lot of surveillance in that area that we use to our advantage to make sure that the public is safe while they're visiting Glendale.
Does this suspect have a history that you know of? Do this group of people say, yeah, we encountered, his Sanger or something like that before? Do you have any of that type of information?
So there was no information about any type of history or anything like that on the suspect who we arrested. He is also 15 years old. So that is something the detectives may know. They did not share that information with us, but that may be something that they're still looking into as well. It could be that they're still contacting other agencies and making sure that there weren't any contacts with this individual and for what they may have been for.
Do we know how many times the gun was fired?
Not sure exactly how many times. The detectives are still continuing to piece all of the different video footage, surveillance, witness statements, suspect statements, and even interviews with the victims to come to a conclusive number on how many gunshots were fired.
Do you know how the 15-year-old where he got the gun?
I do not have the information where he got it from. I believe that is something that they're looking into further to see. I believe he had mentioned that he had bought it, but there is nothing concrete on exactly who he bought it from, or if it was some sort of a legitimate business, if it was off the streets. There's nothing concrete on that yet.
Just more generally speaking, we've seen a couple shootings, more than a couple really this summer so far, where teens are getting their hands on guns. One was recently at Desert Sky Mall, where teens are getting shot. What's your take on the law enforcement side of how easily accessible some of these teens are getting these guns and so willing to use them?
Yeah, it's kind of something that we always look into. Obviously, there's Arizona revised statutes, and in this situation, this was referred against this individual. We take that very seriously. If you can go back to our social media pages where some of our street teams, like the Violent Crimes Impact Team or the Entertainment Squad, have had some successful busts, if you will, with these types of situations where they've gotten underage individuals with high-capacity guns, different types of guns, weapons, drugs, those types of things off the street, and they've shown those. We recently had one where our mayor was doing a ride-along with that Violent Crimes Impact Team, and they're able to get those off the street. They take it seriously. They do look for that. We have units that focus on that type of crime and behavior, and that's just really just continue to keep the public safe, especially in these large space areas.
You mentioned confrontation between classmates. I guess was this an ongoing, dispute that's escalated at Westgate, or was this an ongoing dispute that started at the school?
So from what I read, there was nothing ongoing leading up to this incident. It's not like they had a previous run-in recently where this happened. I think that there was just some words exchanged, at which point set one of them off, and that's when the physical altercation first started.
What's your message to families, other people who were there trying to celebrate the 4th and having something like this happen?
So our message here is just to continue to understand that we are out there, and as both Jose and I mentioned, our teams were there very quickly to limit the exposure to everybody who was there. Our investigators, SWAT team, entertainment squad, patrol officers, everybody responded very rapidly to make sure that this was a minimalistic event. And we're going to continue to provide the utmost security to individuals who want to come to these special events, such as 4th of July, here within the city of Glendale, and we're going to continue to provide them that security. These are things that we take seriously. Like any incident, we're going to continue to evaluate everything that happened here and try to be better and to learn from anything that we may not have already known in these types of situations, to make sure that we continue to provide the utmost security and safety, and so that families can come to these events and just feel safe being within their own community.
And a quick follow-up on that, what's your response to people who weren't too shocked that something like this did happen at Westgate?
You know, this was one of those situations, as I began to look into it, it's just unfortunate that these two groups of juveniles, these two minor groups, came together here at Westgate. It could have happened anywhere. It could have happened at a Walmart in South Phoenix, or it could have happened at an ASU football game in Tempe. It just, they happened to come together at that exact moment here at Westgate. It's unfortunate. But it's something that we're going to continue to pay attention to, and to ensure that, like I said before, we're going to keep that safety aspect. We're going to make sure that the area is not only safe, it feels safe, and people can be guaranteed that they are safe when they're here.
Can you explain a little bit about, when this happened, the businesses and Westgate implemented this lockdown stay in place? Is that something that you work with them on? Can you explain just, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think it's like any large business, like I mentioned earlier, we have Arrowhead Mall, all the schools. It's just something that we work with those entities as something like this happens. Obviously, the police department gets with the administrations, whether it's a school, whether it's a large business complex, or something like this would be the security personnel over at Westgate, giving them the advice that we are asking for them to do, and ultimately they make the call to make that lockdown procedure and put it in place. I think it's kind of self-explanatory for most people who are there. They want shelter in place or get to a safe place, whether it's immediately leave the area or get into a secured building where they feel safe. And that's just to continue to make sure that they're safe during the incident, while we are going around searching for suspects, treating victims, making sure we don't mistakenly ID anybody, and we don't want to get anybody mixed up in anything that they're not a part of.
And that goes back to how you just said, you're there, you're going to make this as safe as possible, but should something happen, your presence is still there.
Yeah, you're still going to be there. We're still going to be there, and we're going to make sure we get in there swiftly and quickly. The least amount of traffic that we can have once we get to a situation like this, and that's another key aspect of people locking down or locking in place inside the businesses. There's less people that we have to assess when we're getting there, because we want to only assess the individuals who need our attention in those situations, again, whether it's a suspect or a victim in these cases. So it also helps us with our rapid response to make sure that we can get in, make it as safe as possible, as quickly as possible, and address the individuals who need to be addressed.
With the suspect's mother being present and even trying to de-escalate the situation, kind of a two-part question. Can she face any consequences for her son's behavior? And what would be your message to parents who know that their kids are either have guns or trying to get involved in situations like this?
So obviously her facing any types of charges, that's something that would unravel potentially of any type of involvement in the investigation. So at this point, it doesn't seem to be that it's going down that path. But also, it's still active. I mean, there's probably new information since I last talked to the detective, because they're continuing to comb through evidence and go through all that type of video surveillance and things like that. Message to parents who may know this is taking place. Obviously, there's curfew laws. If you're having an issue with your teen and you think they're doing this type of behavior, one, you can do what you need to do as a parent to parent your child. But if you need our help, you can always call the non-emergency numbers to the local police departments, and we could even maybe come out there and have a conversation with them and try to help the situation out before it escalates to something criminal.
What message do you have for families who are very concerned for an incident like that, especially between juveniles?
We just want to let them know that we're taking this very seriously. Obviously, like we'd mentioned, the rapid response from our units to get into that area to minimize the situation. We're going to continue to always assess the situation and assess the area to see what we can do to be better, working in partnership with the security of these types of venues to make sure we can do it better next time, to ensure that there is not a next time. So we're going to go out there and we're going to try to better ourselves and continue to provide the security and safety that our community deserves.
Just to confirm, the fireworks display was the day before, correct?
Fireworks was on Friday, yeah.
You just faced a larger than usual crowd because of the holiday.
Correct. Yes, yes.
Or do you know about, you guys have an estimate how many people were there leading up to the incident?
I do not know.
We're also hearing reports that there was some confusion that the fireworks were actually taking place that evening. So there was some conflicting reports that were put out there, but the fireworks actually did take place the day before. So we believe a lot of these families were under the impression that there may have been a firework display taking place that evening, which made Westgate a little bit more crowded than typical for a Saturday evening. Thank you guys again for your continued coverage on all of this. If we have any more additional information, we'll be glad to put that out if and when that happens. We're also going to email those Form 4s that you all received here to your desks to make sure that everybody got the same information. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.